Welcome to another video and most likely the last video about the translation project. This time I will go over the Addons folder and its content. Let's start with the easier folders. First, the NEMO profiles and the warp session folders. I already explained these folders in the first video, but I will mention it once more. These files allow you to easier patch your client with either program by pre-selecting the patches required with the predefined paths of the renamed files in the system folder. If you want more info, head to my docs or watch my first video again where I demonstrated that. What I mean by docs is this site here, which is linked in the repository, and under guides, project installation, you scroll down or click on here and you get to this section down here, how they work and what to do with them. But I can demonstrate them later once we go into the last part with the custom Lua support, where I will use them myself. So what I mean by the predefined paths and patches is pretty much if I search in NEMO as example, .lab, you get basically those path patches, and by selecting the profile, which I'm gonna load for demonstration, after it loaded everything, you will see like the itemInfo n lab file, and then we go to the change achievement level, and then you get the paths which are predefined. You only have to press OK on them. That's pretty much needed for everything once you're done with it. So then that's this part. This works as well for warp, but for warp's case it's immediate, so you don't have to press anything. So the next part would be the Hero quest info. The file, and so this file in here, which is ongoing quest info list, is just for placeholder pretty much, contains old hero quests which you have to manually implement yourself by copying the entries inside the regular ongoing quest info list _true _en lab. So if I go to I'm gonna open this one here since I have it open in this file here. There are official one for my repo, which you use by default. You have to manually check for duplicated entries, so make sure that the IDs are not already taken. If they are, you have to replace them pretty much. Then the next part would be the itemInfo per Char Server. This feature allows you, or this folder allows you to load different itemInfo based on your server name setting on your server. This is helpful if you want to run two servers with one client but different item descriptions. Other than that, it's not really useful. Like example, if you want to have one renewal and one pre-renewal server, you can't really well you can use it, but your skill description will not be accurate, so will not match. So it's only really worthwhile to use if you want to use different item descriptions. But the function in this folder, so the files in this folder, are adjusted to make use of this patch. The problem, the patch is only available pretty much for NEMO until 2015 November clients. In warp it exists, but I tested them and they don't work. I think I saw an issue already, issue report on warp GitHub repository, and I don't know if it's worked on or not. So pretty much in NEMO you have the patch load itemInfo per Char Server, and that's the it basically adds an argument to the function of itemInfo, so the main itemInfo function, which you can then use to make certain checks against, which the Lua files in here in this folder are adjusted to. So, but it's basically if you can't or don't want to use those clients, or you don't want to use this feature in itself, skip. You don't get interested in it. So the next thing would be the Char Enchantments Display. These files contain the entries to allow enchantments to be handled like cards via prefixes in an item names. Pretty much those are just duplicated card files, TXT files, but with the enchantments from Char included. Though it's not up to date, it has been some time since I last checked Char entries for that, because it's a hassle, pretty much. But what I mean by is it? No. It's pretty much enchantment prefixes are like Fighting Spirit 7 in this, like displayed like this for the ID 4822, which is an enchantment. So Carry doesn't have that for reasons I'm not aware of. Also, I can demonstrate that really quick what I mean, because I set it up on my side, so I can show you what I mean by that. It also adds coloring to the items depending on how many enchantments are applied. Like blue, I think was fully, I think all three. So basically what you can see here, this one is blue, it has three, one, two, well it has three, but one, I think the level 4 is not set up in the files yet, so it should be displayed another color. Unlike my this armor here has also 3 enchantments: Natural Resistance, ASPD +1, and Agi +1, sorry. And it's also being displayed in here. I think 1 enchantment was green, 2 enchantments was blue, and 3 enchantments is orange. So basically it only displays. It's just the visual stuff, basically. It's not affecting any kind of gameplay or functionality of these enchantments. Just nice to see what enchantments they are on. Like I have here Sharp 4, SP consumption 2%, and then luck +1 because it's a random. So that's basically what this Char Enchantments Display does. So then the next part would be the navigation legacy. Let's hop over to here. So we have navigation legacy. This file holds the old entries from the navigation feature, which I changed with the commit of the 3rd April 2022. If you load those files instead, the latest navigation entries of core will not be used anymore. And the Signboard legacy is pretty much the same as the navigation legacy, but for the Signboard list file instead. So same setup, same way of doing. Then the next part would be the revised pre-re skill infos. The creator of this Sandal font took the time to comment to add a comment to each skill in pre-renewal and added some helpful notes to them. Like how they behave, how calculations are done, and more on server side, especially on Eratina. If you're interested in more, please visit the docs and click on the link of the original thread, like you can see here. So the last part would be the custom Lua Support. Basically for this I will mostly read from the docs, as I already explained all of it there, but additionally I will show you more via this video. So first of all, let's start with the basic, with the text here, and then we go into installation. So the custom Lua Support, or CLS how I call it, was created to assist you further in adding new custom entries to separate files, split from the original files. So it's easy to update translation once. It's similar to the itemInfo support, but on a far bigger scale. Important note is to be aware that most of these files were only tested for Lua errors and functionality regarding the original files. In case you encounter errors, please use the Discord reporting it and PM me with your custom stuff so I can test them efficiently, send them to Laser to search for stuff like that, or I don't have access to them. Also noted. Before using any of these files, be sure to make a backup of your organic clients and files. You have been warned. So let's go into the installation. So first of all, since my revamp of the Reorganize project I did back then with the addition of tools, I have the CLS generator, which basically copies the files for you for whatever you need. It's the files in your client folder like every other bat files in there, but additionally it's pretty much it only copies. So only your client side setup is pretty much done by choosing what you want. Of course, you can choose the all-in-one package, or you choose whatever you want. So it only copies the things you really want to skip unnecessary files you don't plan to use at all. But it's up to you. The next part would be making your client read the whole part. Since the custom Lua support uses a custom folder in the Lua files directory, which the most custom, so the most additional files are loaded from, you need pretty much to make use of patch me 4144 on NEMO and NEO worked on together. So pretty much I requested them, and you so for NEMO it would be those whole patches here. For NEMO you can just select which patch you want, but be aware that the world map and the navigation patches don't work. Navigation for this reason, because they need a different kind of code logic, which 4144 didn't implement yet. I'm not too sure if he's still working or if he forgot. It didn't pay any sense. But for warp, basically it works. But for warp, it's a bit different. It's all in one patch, so you don't have to click through. But NEO added a config file in YAML file format, which is the inputs Lua override spec file. You can open this file via this button here with the magnifier on it, and then you will open this file. In this file you can now decide what you wanna enable and what not by making a comment in front. On the doc side, on the underhead, I have linked a bit below after demonstrating this line what is a link to what, so you can otherwise to disable all these files mentioned. So like if you want to disable head effects, you just have to disable this line here. So pretty much, let's go over here again. Let's move this over so I have more space. So I only have to comment by adding a hash in front and save. Then the patch will not apply the head effect info stuff as example. Like mentioned, it's all already linked together pretty much, but you have to, if there's a function for it, like for quest info, if you don't plan to use the custom quest files, which I will explain in a few seconds later after I explain this one. You have to also disable the function for it, otherwise it will generate you an attempted to call a nil value, since it will try to access tables which are in the custom files, but it's not loaded correctly, so it's not being loaded. Pretty much that's all you have to do, and once you have satisfied and done everything you want to do, so what you want to use or not use, you can close this file, save of course, then head over back to warp and then press OK, and then the patch is applied with everything you want to add. Pretty much that's all to it. So then back to the installation in general. Like I mentioned, it's the batch file, so the batch file does it pretty much for you, but if you want to do it manually, just in case, basically the custom Lua files folder, let's go into it. You have two folders, of course, the data folder and the system folder. In the system folder, there's only the quests files, which I can't place into the Lua files or in a GRF like usual, because it requires a different logic based on in comparison to the data folder. But like mentioned, to load those custom files, we need the patch to read it from the GRF, otherwise it won't be read from by default. There, of course, are a few exceptions to the rewritten function files. As example, I have here the Lapin boxes, I think it was, which had the functions in the main file itself, which are pretty much intern. Yep, this part. So I had to pretty much copy the previous one as well and make a duplicate of it. So that's the only few exceptions, like title table also has a function in there. I could technically split a few files, but it's not like this one I could split, but for what reason? Then, other than that, that's why I mentioned make a backup, especially from those files. Then, yeah, in the CLS folder, you have pretty much everything in one. So the data info, the navigation files pretty much for your custom navigations. Then we have the signboard, which is normally one folder before it. Then we have the transparent item files, which are for your custom ropes, like mentioned in the previous video about the additions folder, and noted down in the customization part what files are linked to what you need. The tested files I did on my own are those ones, so mobs, NPC, pets, hit curves, quests, weapon, and title tables, but this one requires a source modification in the achievements HPP file. You can link it and you get the Artina version. I'm not sure about the Hercules one, so you have to find it yourself. Might be similar. But files which I didn't test or not gonna test are the draw item on Aura, because I'm not sure about it, what it does. Like mentioned the additions video last time. The random options setup, shadow tables, TB layer priority, head effects, because I don't have any, and Lapin boxes as well, because I have no idea what to test with. So if you encounter issues with that, go ahead and PM me. Down here also explained what those sections pretty much mean, so what swap means, what load after means, and then of course what file is linked to what to disable or enable them respectively, for RAP at least. So here at NEMO section I also mentioned again that the custom navigation and world map support is not working, so pretty much that's all to it. And then you're ready to go. Then you can make your changes to the files you wanna add or edit, like custom hickers. Add them, like I have some templates in here which you can copy over. So this one is a comment for Lua files, so it's not being read. And pretty much how it's on. Every file contains such stuff. Except the ones I'm not too sure about, like one here, this one's, I'm not, yeah, you will see. If you experience with this, go ahead. So that's basically how custom Lua support is set up. If there's anything else you want me to cover and so on, go ahead, drop me a PM on Discord or in the Discord server itself, and I will might be make another video or explanation about stuff, or go into more detail depending on the request itself. So until then, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it was a pretty short, but I covered much. If I was too fast or anything else, same thing. Have a nice day, and see you next time or something like that. Bye.